There we go. All right. Welcome to the quarterly meeting of this fall 2020 of Antietam Quidditch. I'm going to pass the mic over to Lee, and he's going to do our rule of the day before we get started.
All right. So the rule that we're going over is kicking within Quidditch. So kicking is allowed, but there are some certain caveats to them. So the first being that whenever there's a play going on, so all players, apart from keepers and within the keeper zone, are allowed one kick. So for keepers, if they're within the keeper zone and they have possession of the ball, or if they're in the keeper zone and they are allowed to kick the ball as many times as they can, so long as they're in their keeper zone. And it's just like, it's not too crazy, but yeah. So pretty much what that means is you're allowed one kick, and so once your foot makes contact with the ball, that is considered one kick. However, if you attempt or even accidentally have your foot make contact with the ball again and it propels, then that will be considered a second kick, and then that will be a foul. And so because of that, kicking is more of a seen as like a last resort kind of thing. Like, oh, you and another player are going after a ball, and like you don't think that it's possible that you might not be able to catch it in time. So kicking is more like a Hail Mary kind of thing, just like kick it. However, there are also illegal kicks too. So an illegal kick happens when it is considered dangerous. So what that means is, let's say you and an opponent are going for the same ball, right? Let's say the person, your opponent, is a little bit closer to the ball, and they go reaching for the ball. So their hand. So let's say like this is. I'm gonna pick up. Let's say this McDonald's toy, right, is the ball. Let's say they're reaching for it, right? If they're this close to it, and then you on the side know that you can't make it, and you try to kick it to get it away from them, because they're so close to the ball, that is considered dangerous, and that would be considered an illegal kick, because you are not intentionally, but that action could potentially lead to an injury. And so that would be considered illegal, and you would get carded for that because it's an illegal kick. And kicks are primarily determined by referees. So let's say, it's up to the referee's discretion whether the kick was illegal or not, or dangerous or not. So you can't really call, that was an illegal kick. That's what the referees are for. And last one being is that for beaters, kicks, like every time, let's say a beater is running up to a ball and they kick it, and for whatever reason, that kick makes contact with an opponent. And if it's, if all things goes right and the beat is, makes contact and, goes off, then that's considered a legal beat. And that other person is knocked out and has to go back to the hoops and tag back in. So that's also another technique or another method of beating for beaters if you're into that. Yeah. So yeah, does anyone have any questions about kicking or anything about kicking? If not, then I think we're good for kicking then.
All right, sweet. So before we get into talking about next quarter, we're just going to do a quick recap of the survey that we sent out to everybody. So just to go over the first point, we were talking about, or we asked you guys what you thought about practices and all of the exercises we were doing, and if you were looking for like more variety, more intense workouts, or just like if there were any general comments you had as for like the structure and the content. And for the most part, you guys said it was fine. And then you mentioned that maybe you'd want like a little bit more dance or yoga, and we'll look into that for next quarter. With that being said, we also asked about the social Sundays, and you guys gave us an amazing list of ideas. And I will personally take those, and I will like structure social days for the rest of for the beginning of next quarter. And then speaking about next quarter, we're going to continue with the same structure we have this quarter. Saying quarter an awful lot, might as well be worth 25 cents. But yeah, so same structure unless we get any other notice that the world is going to open up back up again. And if that does happen, you will all be the first people to know if something changes. Like we'd love to do anything in person, but until that happens, that is not a possibility. So with that being said, does anybody have any questions about leadership, about online practices, Sunday socials, or just about AQ in general? Right. Well, if that's the case, feel free to contact any of us on Discord or email, and we'd love to get back to you and just try to make AQ as great as we could possibly do, given the resources we have for next quarter. That being said, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop recording as well.